Hello, hello, and welcome, everyone. I am your host and one of the producers of the LizyT show. How are you doing this afternoon, or it could be morning? Some of our viewers are sometimes in the other side of the world. So, hello to my friends and family in Australia. Also, we have some viewers in the States and some viewers here, obviously in Canada. So it is an incredible afternoon today. We are going to bring this is the session of Woman on Fire. And we've been doing Woman on Fires for the last month, and it is still going to be going on next month in March, which is actually tomorrow. Believe it or not, I can't believe time is just going by so quickly. For some of you that just came into our channel, because as you know, we are all over social media, as you can see it on the screen. We're broadcasting live through all of those networks all at once. We are doing Woman on Fire, and this session with incredible women from all walks of life, women that are doing just incredible things in the community that haven't been recognized. Well, thanks to the CEO and the creator of Woman on Fire network, we are able to recognize those ladies for doing what they do best, and they get sometimes forgotten, or sometimes they don't get recognized. I would say most of the times they don't get recognized. So today we are going to honor another Woman on Fire nominee, and you will see it from the screen. Her name is Ingrid Palmer. So let me give you a little bit of background from Ingrid, because her life is really incredible, and she's going to be joining us here through this network. And I had her bio right here, so give me 1 second. So Ingrid Palmer, she was diagnosed with two rare of disorders in her teens: retinitis pigmentosa, which it causes blindness, and a PCOS, which is a result of growth facial hair. As a Black female who experienced adverse childhood trauma and several years in foster care, Ingrid has overcome diversity directly, linking to her intersections of race, gender, ability, and socioeconomic status and perceived orientation. Ingrid has founded Focus on Ability to combat ableism, changes bias, promote universal belonging, drive system changes, and debunk myth of stereotypes of systematic identity. As a human rights advocate, she has passionate issued the housing, property, education, disability as a child welfare sector. Wow. That is definitely a mouthful. I know that every time somebody reads my bio, I'm like, have I done all of those things? Am I that person that this uh, um, presenter is giving me? Yes, you are. We don't realize the things that we do sometimes. And obviously, here is going to be a bit of a recognition. The big recognition is going to be definitely on the weekend where Woman on Fire is going to take place. But without further ado, let's welcome her to the stage. Okay. Hello, Ingrid, and welcome to the LizyT show. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great, Lizzie. Thank you so much for having me on your program
Well,
today. It's great to be here.
it is great to have you here. It's a pleasure and honor to meet such a great leader in the community. And one of the things that I've heard you talk before when we had our Sunday meetings with Allison, and your story is so interested and so motivational. And for someone who has dealt with so many health issues and so many uh, trials in your life, I mean, and you still going. What was it for you when you first realized, or when you first were told by doctors that you had this condition? How did you take it? I mean, I assume that that was probably very hard.
That's a really funny story, Lizzie, because actually, my very first reaction when the doctor told me that I had a rare degenerative eye disorder was that, I smiled. I was happy. Not because I felt vindicated, because you see, because a rare disease presents strangely and not typically, no one believed me when I talked about my struggle seeing, because some of the symptoms of RP are that I lack depth perception. So my world was very, very flat, and I would walk into things that were really huge. Or, say, if somebody opened the door for me, I'd walk into the door instead of through the opening because I couldn't tell where the opening was. And so every day I would have these mishaps that just seemed ridiculous, like slapstick comedy. And so I was constantly being told that I was seeking attention or being a class clown, and I knew I wasn't, but I couldn't explain it. So when I first heard that something was wrong with my eyes, I was like, yes, I knew I wasn't lying. I can't wait to tell everybody, see, you were wrong about me. But afterwards, of course, the doctor went on to explain that there was no cure and no treatment, and that I was going to indeed, slowly lose my vision. And then the devastation set in. But initially, I was actually uh, relieved.
How old were you, Ingrid, when it says in your bio that you were a teen? I'm glad that you mentioned this story, because there is a lot of parents out there. There's a lot of people that probably have issues with their child, and they're not realizing that, yes, they're not calling attention. They're not trying to,
Yeah.
have people look at them. They're truly struggling, whether it is with a mental illness, whether it's with, in your case, with vision, uh, maybe there's other things, attention disorder. I mean, I had to go through
Mm,
with my kids myself. So it is good that you mentioned, because you felt vindicated. I'm like, yes, I am not crazy. Yes, I'm not. I
yes.
truly can't
Yes.
see properly.
Yes, absolutely. And you're so right about the ways that we tend to attribute things we see behaviorally to just behavioral. A child or a person maybe is just being bad or being annoying, when actually it's indicative of symptoms of a condition, and
Hmm.
it's really important that we react with curiosity when we see strange things happening or things that we don't understand, that we try to
Hmm.
ask questions about what's going on instead of maybe instantly jumping to judgment. Really
I love
important.
it. I love it. I mean, everyone, if you're watching this today, tomorrow, because this is recorded, take this part as an example, and take this part home, because you don't know. There's could be a child, could be a niece, could be a neighbor, could be a student of yours, that things
Mhm.
are not going the way, they're not right. There's something different, and I don't want to use the word wrong, so I use the word there's something different, and so let's point it out, and
Mhm.
hopefully we'll be able to help. I did ask you, how old were you when this you got your diagnosis?
You know what? I was 14 years old, and that
Mm,
actually is very, very late for my diagnosis, because
yes.
usually with most people with my condition, they are diagnosed between the ages of 2 and 9. So that shows you to how much, for my situation, I was just not being believed, and it was just really ascribed to behavior. Unfortunately, and I received a lot of corporal punishment to try to correct what was seen as just, a kind of deviant behavior. And that was part of the reason why I ended up in care. But also, when I did end up in foster care, I had the same reaction from social workers and foster parents. Their
Mm,
immediate reaction was, "Oh, you are just seeking attention." But I
wow.
protested and I cried. But luckily enough, after a few months instead of years, they decided to really look into it, and that's when I received the diagnosis.
Right, right. And so because there was no cure and the prognosis was for you to get used to and was there any therapy involved, any counseling, anything that was allowing you to live with this condition? I mean, obviously now after
No,
so many years later, but at the beginning, it must.
oh, Lizzie, I wish I could say that there was, but I'm sure you
So what
know
do I
that
do
the
now?
majority of
How do I
yeah,
go about?
the majority of experiences from care are just not positive. So being in foster care, I did not. I did not receive therapy. I did not receive any treatment. And even though, you move around so much as well, and even though the different places I stayed in, even though they knew that I was diagnosed with this condition, there was no relaxing of expectations on me. There was no support provided. I continued to have to try to figure out my own wraparounds myself. And it was really difficult because I felt so alone in the situation. And because it wasn't a visible disability in the sense of people seeing and remembering it, because I wore glasses as I do now, but I was still legally blind with my glasses as I am now. My acuity is actually minus 1,000, so my glasses don't actually do that much. But when people see you wearing what they think are corrective equipment, then they assume everything is fine. So,
Mm,
people would and leave me places. I would have the same expectations to, fulfill duties, whether it was at school or in the foster home or group homes that I was living at, with no
right.
accommodations. They knew that I was losing my vision, but they would still say, "Nope, you have to take the garbage out at night." And I was like, "But I can't see." And it was like, you do it or you get punished. And so
Oh
I
wow.
was forced to figure things out. Yeah, I was
Wow.
always forced to figure things out. Mhm.
Definitely a woman on fire, definitely a strong woman. So the glasses really help. It's a little aid. It's not necessarily maybe just to be sitting on front of the computer or maybe just to help you. I don't know.
Yeah, so I can explain. At this point in my life, my glasses only help on the computer. I have a huge external monitor. It's really like a television
Of course, I
set.
can
And then
imagine.
with
I was
my
just gonna say.
Yeah, and then with my adaptive equipment, it reverses things. So I have a black screen and I have very big white letters. So my font size is around 60 or 70, which for it's very, very big. But I only use my glasses like for the computer really. They don't help me like seeing people or seeing around. The When I take my glasses off, everything looks exactly the same. It's only helpful to me on the computer at this point.
Right, right. Um, I am so proud of you for being able to be here to accomplish so much and to overcome all of those trials in your life and being able to be the greater speakers you are. So on that note, that's a great segue. How were you able to get into the speaking industry and become this great leader that you are? And by the way, what is the website? I would like to share it with my audience.
Right, thank you. So my website is www.ingridpalmer.ca, and
Beautiful.
that
So
website.
it's underneath here, everyone, for you to be able to share, and we will be sharing that. So, how did you get involved? Really, being this spokesperson?
Mhm. Thank you so much for that question. So, the percentage of youth from care that actually finish school and go on to post secondary is only about 8%. But for me, school was my lifeline. I loved to learn. I did well in school. And so, despite my adversity and my struggles in life, I pushed myself really hard. And I graduated from high school with honors. I got two college diplomas and I went on to
Wow.
university and I got my degree. I graduated well, GPA over 4.0. But when I went
Wow.
out into the world, yeah, I thought I pushed myself really hard because we're taught that you get your education, your life is going to be great. And I'd had such a hard life early on that I was determined that the rest of my life, was going to be great because I was going to get a really good education, a really good job, and my life was just going to be peachy keen. But what happened when I graduated, I started looking for work, and by that time I was legally blind. My vision was about 70 over 20, and
Wow.
employers wouldn't touch me. I got into great interviews because, my stats were great. And plus, I interviewed well. So I'd be called back for second and third, but they couldn't get
Right.
over the visual impairment. They saw me only as a liability risk, and I just never, ever got the job. And after a couple of years, I dropped my university degree. And then after that, I dropped my diplomas, and still I couldn't. And I couldn't without my diplomas, like with just high school. Those are like general, like a lot of like labor positions, and I
Right.
couldn't do those jobs because at that time my vision had gone down too much because I'd been working since I was 14. So I had been employed before, but by the time I finished all my education, I was in my mid to late 20s, and I couldn't do that anymore at that point. And so I felt like I was forced onto social welfare, but my desire to contribute to the world just could not be quashed. And so I started volunteering in all different sectors: education, child welfare, disability, poverty reduction. And every time I was always asked to speak and to share some aspect of my life to illustrate the advocacy that we were doing. And I
Mhm.
realized that, oh, wow, I wonder if I could
I can make
somehow
a living out of this.
I could parlay this because my hopes of being hired by an organization was like done. So I knew that I had to find a way to generate work for myself. But even with that, like people don't want to pay you. When
Mhm.
you are impacted, or a marginalized person, people don't want to pay you. They want you to tell your story for free. And that was something I was
Mm.
always fighting against. I said to them, if I was a white male with some letters after my name and that person was
Mhm.
telling my story, you'd pay them very well to tell my
Right.
story. But me telling my own story, I was getting, Tim Hortons gift cards, Indigo gift cards,
Oh, mine.
five. Yeah, and I had to
Yeah.
really, really argue
Well,
for
on that note,
myself.
I don't forget your train of thought. But on that note, we know that Tony Robbins and many of the other people out there, and I shouldn't name his name, but they don't have degrees to their names, and they're making millions as a public speaker. So they don't have any letters to the name for sure, and many other out there. So if they're getting paid to speak and to motivate, you should as well.
Exactly. And so I had to like work my way up as many of us do when we're starting careers or becoming entrepreneurs. I started off free or minimal pay, and I worked my way up to where I am at now, and now I charge a significant a significant
And it
fee.
should
Um,
so you should, and that deserves a round of applause. That is awesome. That I'm so proud of you. So now this is your livelihood. This is really what
yes.
you do. I'm not sure if you are going to be speaking at Woman on Fire.
No, not
Okay.
this year. I hope that I will be in next year, but I think when you're a nominee, you don't get to do it that same year.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
look
Well,
out
this
for me, though. Look out for me because I'm part of the
I
community.
am sure that you will. I'm so sure that you will. So, again, this is another segue, and let's talk about Woman on Fire. So, how did you get involved? And by the way, everyone, you're watching right here, the on the screen. This is um, Ingrid's website. So if you are looking to hire a speaker, this is it. I love the quote: "No excuse, no doubt." There is presentations, and there is a lot. I mean, you've done. A lot of speaking engagement. I recognize a lot of the places that I've been participating to, but great, great. So have you heard of Woman on Fire in the past? Is this your very first time? If it's very first experience with it?
It is my very first experience with it, and I was very honored to have
Yeah.
been nominated. Yes,
So do
for
you
the
know
for
who
the Impact
nominated
Award.
you?
I do. A
Uh,
very, very lovely woman and friend that I know, Irina, nominated me, and she has been a champion of me for quite a while. Even when I was still trying to build my speaking career, she was one of the people that was encouraging me. And even recommended some venues for me to speak at. And the place where I really started to hone my skills and to build my reputation was at an organization called Speaker Slam, which she recommended
I've
me
heard of
to.
that.
So, yeah,
I was just gonna mention that, but I figured, not sure if I have the authority, but there you are. You said it. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So, Arena has been like a real champion of mine, and she nominated me for the Woman
Oh,
on
that is
Fire Impact
wonderful.
Award.
Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations. So your very first experience, you got nominated. How did it feel when you got the call from, I assume, Allison? How did you react it? I mean, I'm sure, I'm pretty sure you have been nominated for other awards before to this, but it's an interesting to get a phone call from Allison saying, "Hey, tell us a little bit about
Yes,
that."
exactly. Oh, it was just so exciting. It was so exciting. It was like it's such an honor, and such a thrill, and to know and the impact award like that's so significant for someone to think that what you are doing out in the world, what you are passionate about, is
Hmm.
having significant impact. That's a real honor.
It is,
So
it is,
it was
and
just such a delight. Yeah.
well deserved. Again, as my intro previously, we are doing this. Well, Allison mainly, obviously, I'm just a helper to recognize ladies just like yourself that do incredible things in the community, help others. And if it wasn't for this platform, because there's others, but there wouldn't be any recognition. And I'm so glad that she has this to be able to help out ladies and give them an award. I have mine up here as well, and on the back of my stages. So it is very, very. It feels amazing that
Mhm.
somebody out there knows what you're doing. And another question that I love to ask is that have you gotten the dress? I'm not sure if you do on the weekend or just the Sunday gala, or you doing also the pajama party and the business networking on Saturday. How is your schedule for Woman on Fire?
It's full. It's full, a
Oh,
full 2 days. We got the, pajama party in the evening on the
yes.
Saturday and the gala on the Sunday, so I'm really looking forward to it. I've just been hearing about in our, our biweekly Sunday gatherings about all the events and things that have happened in the past, so, really excited to experience it firsthand. I'm really
Mhm.
looking forward to that, but yeah, there's some shopping that needs to go on. I need to get, like, those pajamas can't bring the same old ones from home.
I
Gotta
hear
get
you. I hear
gotta
you,
get a
sister.
brand
I
new
remember
pair.
buying my pajama party for a pajama for the pajama party, and
Exactly.
obviously the dress, right? You have to say to the
Yo,
yes to the dress. I mean, that's the
yes.
biggie. That is the
Yeah.
biggie. But yeah, and you did mention a little bit, but what are you expecting from this? And I can give you as a collaborator of Woman on Fire for the last 10 years, really. It's an incredible event, but any expectation or any hopes, or what do you think that is going to happen on this weekend?
Well, I am just looking forward to the ability to connect with so
Mm,
many amazing women, um,
mhm,
and to celebrate them as well and their achievements and their businesses and to learn more about them. And I think any opportunity for women to get together and
mhm,
celebrate one another and party and learn about
mhm.
one another, I think it's just going to be an incredible event. I look forward to making new connections and to be able to hopefully work collaboratively with some new
Yes,
people with their business, um, and to build my network. I'm looking
absolutely.
forward to being able to grow and to learn in a really welcoming community. And I think that's one of the best parts about this.
And that's basically what you probably will be doing that weekend. This is going to take you back, and it's going to be a network of ladies. For some of them are going to be for life. I still friends with some of the ladies that I've met 10 years ago, and it's an incredible opportunity to learn. One of the things to bring tissue, because some of the
Oh,
speaking are very touching and they're very motivational, and their stories, just like yours, really touches you. And sometimes you realize, you think you have it bad, but when you hear somebody else's who's gone through worse than us,
yes.
you realize, hey, I don't have it as bad. And but again, it's not to make you feel uh, bad about yourself, but it's just to put things into perspective
It's
and realize
encouragement.
that
Yeah.
exactly, to encourage one another and to say, "Hey, you did it. You're here. You're being recognized. You are a woman on fire. Let's do this together. Let's work together." And again, a lot of collaboration. I know that some ladies have been doing businesses together. Allison and I, we've never stopped connecting every year. This is my part that I do. This is my contribution to Woman on Fire, to be able not to only to meet, because I get to meet incredible ladies prior to the gala. So I already have an idea what the menu will be like, and I'm not talking food. I'm talking incredible lives, incredible
People.
opportunities, and ladies that are making huge differences out there in the world. Incredible, yeah, love it, love it. So, are you bringing anybody to the gala, or is just are you doing it solo, or somebody that deserves to experience something like this?
Well, I nominated another incredible entrepreneur and friend,
Ah.
and we will actually be attending the gala together and sharing a room together. So I look forward to um, having this experience with her. That'll be really great.
For sure, for sure. So both of you are going to be there for the very first time. So hey,
Yes.
a shoulder to cry on, and to hug, and to say, "I'm glad I'm here." Um,
Yes.
before, I can't believe it. Times is just running by quickly here. But before we go on, don't forget, everyone, to follow Ingrid. Her website is just down here. You can see it on big letters, and we're showing right now her page. So we are um, divided here. The half of the screen is us, and the other one is her website. And again, if you're looking for an engagement, somebody to speak at your venue, ingridpalmer.ca is the person to connect. If you have any questions for me, don't forget again to send us through LizyPodcast.com a comment or question. I can forward it to Ingrid, or you could send it to me. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel or to all our social medias. And one of the things that I wanted to ask, and this is going to be an interesting question, and I always ask to this questions to all of my guests, and your answer is I already approve in the pudding. You have overcome all your adversity, but somebody who is thinking on the other side, watching it maybe tomorrow, and they're saying, "Hey, I want to start my own business. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be as successful as Ingrid is, a public speaker, getting paid for me to talk." How do I go about it? I mean, it seemed, and I'm going to stress that word, very easy for Ingrid. What would you be your words of wisdom? I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Oh, well, the first thing I want to say to someone is to always to remember that no matter what your current situation is, it's not an indication of what your future possibilities are.
Mhm.
And you also have to remember to celebrate your small wins. So you plan your goals. Um, of what you want to do and how you want to build your business. And we know that we need to break them down into small, actionable steps. And we know that we all face drawbacks as we're building our business or going after our dreams. But we're going to focus on celebrating our wins, celebrating ourselves, and making sure that every day you're taking at least one action in a step towards your dreams, knowing that each step counts. And as long as you don't give up, you will reach your goals. I can't hear you, Lizzie, if you're talking.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Oh, now I can hear you, Lizzie.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Um, I one of the things that you mentioned that I love is celebrate your small wins, and it is so easy for us to be trapped on that mentality. Is nothing for the last month, for the last week, for the last year, because you could testify to this. It took you a long time to be where you're at right now. We looked at things in a small scale. We have to look at a big scale. So it took me about 10 years to get where I am here right now,
Hmm.
and it's taking you as much as for you as well. So celebrate your small wins. I love
Yeah.
it. And a lot of us don't do that enough, especially people that are starting their business and they're so
Hmm.
willing to give up at the first adversity, at the first trial, at the first, oh, this is not good, this is not going to
Yeah.
work. So stick it out for a little longer. Maybe give yourself some a long period, a long plan, like a 3 year or a 5 year, and see how that's going to work. And then you can judge. But and then again, through the process, I love what you said again, is celebrate your small wins. Is makes a huge difference. Yeah, I did it. I completed it. I've got that badge to that mark. So I love it. Great, great.
And also to remember that you're not alone and to build a community that you can lean
Mhm.
on. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Being part of that and a network, just like what you're going to be doing with Woman on Fire, to be able to
Yes.
rely on others. And we're so quick, and I am guilty of that. It's sometimes we don't go to people for advice or for even just to say, how did you do this? It's in us to say I could do it. I don't want to ask anyone. I don't want to feel embarrassed. I feel embarrassed to ask for help, but don't do that. I myself have gone to many people that it's given me great advice, and I assume it's the same thing for you, Ingrid.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's really important to have a tribe that you can go to, who can
Mm-hmm.
lift you up when you're getting low, who can remind you of how far you've come and how much you've gotten done. Because sometimes we only focus on what went wrong, what we didn't
Mm-hmm.
get done that we had on our list. So we need to have those people, and remember that it's not always going to be your partner or your family or your friends. They're not always the ones. You got to find your people and hold them close. Remember that it's not always going to be the ones that are closest to you in terms of like your family or your
It's
friends.
so true.
Yeah, find your tribe.
I so true. I interview so many artists, singers, songwriters, and one of the things that I ask them is how is the support from family and friends, and they are like they don't believe in what I'm doing. This is my second solo, and
Yeah,
I'm still not able to prove myself to them. So I'm going with my business friends because they're the
yeah,
ones who are in the industry or who are pushing me, but I'm
yeah,
going to prove my parents wrong, or I'm going to prove my family wrong. I'm going to prove my friends wrong that I can make it in this industry, which is, as you know, musicians are very, very challenged, but some of them make it. And we obviously know that the proof
mm,
is in the pudding. There's incredible artists out there making it with a lot of
yeah,
hard work. Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. I'm glad that you mentioned this. So, if a family is saying don't do this, well, maybe you should challenge a little. Let me prove you wrong, and hopefully you are able to prove them wrong. So
Mhm.
absolutely. Ingrid, again, it's been a pleasure and honor to have you here in the LizyT show, and congratulations again on being nominated a Woman on Fire. I know you're going to be doing great. Next time we talk, you're probably going to be one of the speakers that
I hope
is
so.
opening what, yes, for sure, opening Woman on Fire again. And congratulations, and looking forward to that incredible weekend where all the ladies are going to be recognized. Thank you, and have a fantastic day.
Thank you so much, Lizzie. Really appreciate the time with you.
Okay. We'll talk behind the scene a little bit. And everyone, don't forget to subscribe. And we will be back with another Woman on Fire. Bye bye for now.